Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's time for week number 63 of our Pokemon TCG live online matches. What we're doing this week, continuing to check out the BREAK evolutions from the new X and Y evolutions expansion. We're already taking a look at Machamp BREAK and Ninetales BREAK. This week we're going to take a look at Nidoking BREAK in a deck that I've simply titled BREAK King. I think kind of cool. Anyway, so you're not going to really see me prioritize making full use of Nidoking BREAK's attack itself, because this kind of deck that I've assembled works kind of better in a different way, but we'll talk over all the cards as they slowly load up for us here. Let us first take a look at the Pokemon in question, Nidoking BREAK. It is, of course, Psychic type, 180 HP. For 2 Psychic and a Colorless, Toxic Drill does a decent 120 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 2 damage counters instead of 1 on the Pokemon between turns. So, you know, I might make use of that, but there is other ways I can get some better damage off, not even using Nidoking itself or Nidoking BREAK. I do have 2 Nidoking BREAK in the deck. I've got 3 Nidoking. I am including one of the evolutions ones because I just don't feel right not including one of each of the evolution cards, because look at the style, look at the amazing art of this card, you know? Not that it's really that useful though. Tail Swing could do some decent damage, 100 to the active and 20 to each opponent's benched basic Pokemon. So a bunch of Pokemon EX on the bench, you're going to take a little bit of damage off of that. But more often than not, you're going to see me wanting to use the Nidoking from the Steam Siege expansion. The ability, first of all, King's Palace. Your Nidoqueen's attacks do 20 more damage for your opponent's active Pokemon. And Power Lariat does 60 plus. This attack does 30 more damage for each evolution Pokemon on your bench. So I'm going to get more damage off with that. Although poisoning with the Toxic Drill could be the better way to go. But we'll see. Situational. Whatever needs to happen can happen at whatever point. But I do have 3 Nidoking in the deck. 1 Nidorino, as you can see here, from the Evolutions expansion, and 3 basic Nidoran Male. Again, 1 from the Evolutions. Look how cute that little card art is right there. Where is he even sitting? It's like a field with some grass behind him and such. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to be the Nidoking line. Now, what we want to do is, since we do have a cool ability in the Steam Siege Nidoking to power up Nidoqueen attacks, we're going to go with Nidoqueen from the Primal Clash expansion with the Omega Barrage ancient trait, which means that you can attack twice with this one Pokemon. So Nidoqueen, she has 140 HP. For a Psychic Energy, Poison Jab does 30 and poisons the target. 2 Psychic and a Colorless. Dynamite Punch does 70, and Nidoqueen does 22 itself, but you don't apply weakness to that, so it's just a basic 2 damage counters on Nidoqueen. So think of it like this. If I do have 2 Nidoking in play with the King's Palace ability, each of them is going to power up Nidoqueen's attacks by 20. So Dynamite Punch could do 90 in one hit, plus you get to attack a second time with Nidoqueen. You could get 180 damage off every turn. What's really nice is, too, as the Omega Barrage ancient trait says, if you get a knockout with your first hit, and the opponent switches out their Pokemon, like it gets knocked out and discarded, you wait for their next one to come up, and then do your second attack. So you can hit 2 things, possibly 2 knockouts, using 1 Nidoqueen here. So I've got 2 Nidoqueen in the deck, 1 Nidorina, and 3 basic Nidoran female. That's going to round out the Pokemon at 15 Pokemon for the deck. Let's just scroll down quickly. Looking at the energy cards, I've got 8 basic Psychic, 3 basic Fighting, 3 basic Fire. Basically, the Fire and Fighting are in here just for draw support, and the Psychic, of course, is to power up the attacks. But in a pinch, you'll see every one of the attacks that we're going to be using is going to have at least 1 colorless energy requirement. So if I need to, I can, you know, throw a Fire or Fighting to the Pokemon. If they've got 2 Psychic already attached, they can suddenly use their attacks. That is going to be 14 energy. Starting off trainer cards, we've got 2 energy retrievals, and I went with one of the ones from the Evolutions expansion because the original art style, it's kind of cool looking. So I can get back 2 basic energy that have been discarded. 2 Evo Sodas. Generally, I'll run 1, maybe 2, but I am going for 2 because there's a lot of evolution that has to happen in this week's deck. I've got 2 Professor's Letters to find 2 basic energy, a whopping 4 rare candies, because as you'll see, I only have 1 of each of the stage 1s. I have to have some really good reliability to evolve from the basic into the stage 2, and then I could Wally or Evo Soda into Nidoking BREAK on the following turn. So I've got 2 repeat balls, because we're going to be a lot of repeat Pokemon this week. It lets you search for any Pokemon of the same name of what you have in play. So bear in mind, Nidoking and Nidoking BREAK are considered 2 different names. So if I want to get a Nidoking, and there's a Nidoking in play, I got to get that out of the deck first before evolving the current active Nidoking. So 2 repeat balls, I've got 2 Super Rods to shuffle back 3 cards of Pokemon or basic energy back into my deck. 2 Ultra Balls to find any Pokemon I want out of the deck by discarding 2 more cards from hand. And you've probably heard me say this so many times, I'm going to say it one more time here, probably later in the future. But what I like to do is play the Professor's Letter to draw 2 basic energy, play the Ultra Ball, toss those 2 energy out, find a Pokemon, and then I can energy retrieval 2 of those energy back into hand. So 3 trainer cards, you burn through them, but you get a Pokemon and 2 energy in the process, which is pretty good. And I've got 2 Versus Seekers as well to bring back some supporters. Starting off, we've got Bridget, lets you find 3 basic Pokemon and put them to your bench, or if you use Pokemon EX, you can find one of those and put it right onto your bench. Shuffle up afterwards, of course. I just noticed she has a substitute doll behind her computer there. That's kind of cool. The little Rhydon doll. Anyway, Lysandre, and it was kind of funny. As I'm assembling this deck, I realized I had about space for 4 more cards, and I'm thinking, what have I not considered yet? And I realized I didn't put a Lysandre yet, so there he is. You can move your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench and bring one of the Pokemon from the bench of your choice to the active spot, possibly getting a knockout with your attack that turn. And Pokemon Center Lady, another card that I hadn't initially put in until I realized, wait, Nidoqueen's going to be hurting itself? I want to be able to heal. So I do have Pokemon Center Lady, heal 60 damage and special conditions from a Pokemon. I've got Pokemon Ranger, in case we see the accursed Glaceon EX, whose Crystal Ray prevents damage being done to it by evolved Pokemon. Play the Ranger, I can get rid of that effect right away and suddenly do a lot of damage to that thing. I've got Professor Sycamore to discard your hand and draw 7 cards. 2 Skylas, because I always... Wait a minute, hang on. You're going to see more live deck building in a moment, but I got 2 Skylas to search my deck for any one card or any one trainer card that I want. Put it into hand. Teammates is also here. If the opponent knocks out a Pokemon on their last turn, I can play Teammates and search my deck for any 2 cards that I want, put them right in my hand. And for evolution purposes, I do have Wally, of course. It says you can't use it on a Pokemon EX, which is fine. I don't have those this week. But I can search my deck for a card that evolves from one of my Pokemon and play that right onto that Pokemon. And Wally lets you do that on the very turn that Pokemon first comes into play. So it gets past the whole can't evolve on the first turn aspect of normal Pokemon card play. I've got 2 Scorched Earths. This is why I'm including the Fire and Fighting energy, because this is my favorite way to give draw support to your deck. Once during each player's turn, you can discard a Fire or Fighting energy, draw 2 additional cards that turn, and being a Stadium, of course, it stays in play. I can use it again every single turn, unless the opponent bumps it out with their own Stadium. It could give them some advantage as well if they have Fire or Fighting energy, but I kind of like the draw support, so I'm going to stick with it. And the last 2 cards, Float Stones. Some pretty hefty retreat costs in the Pokemon this week. I want to be able to move them around if need be, and Float Stone is the way to go. It's a tool you attach to a Pokemon. The Pokemon this card's attached to has no retreat cost. I was going to go with Mystery Energy, because each Psychic-type Mystery Energy reduces the retreat cost by 2, but it's actually not standard legal anymore. It was shuffled out with Phantom Forces back when the new standard rotation came in, so I cannot do that. But, as I say, I want to do one bit of a switch here. I'm actually going to take a Skyla out. Now, you're probably thinking, why would you do that? That's the non-foil one. The reason I'm doing that is because... I just recently managed to trade for the Full Art Skyla! Yes! I love Full Art cards. Not that I really need them, they're just as effective as the regular card. Of course, search your deck for a trainer, reveal it, put it in your hand. But the Full Arts are so much more amazing looking. Look at that! Alright, so that is going to be the deck. We do have 15 Pokemon, 31 trainers, and 14 energy. Let's see how well we do in week 63 of our live online matches in Pokemon TCG. See how well Nidoking and Nidoqueen do together in the Break King deck. Alright, our first opponent for the day is a guest player with a pretty colorful deck. Lightning, Psychic, Fighting, and Water, and a dragon symbol on the deck box. So we could see some dragon Pokemon this time around. It is a Groudon coin. They're going to call for the coin flip. Someone out there, feel free to go back and check out every playthrough I've done so far. Not playthrough, but every TCG live online match. How often do I win the coin flip? And another question, how often do I start with a basic Pokemon? Very minimal, from what I recall. Although I noticed with the glow around my own face, I do get to go first in this game, which is interesting. However, I don't win the coin flip. I mulligan. The opponent does not mulligan. We're off to a roaring start, as they're carefully selecting which of their remaining Pokemon to put to the bench. No, apparently they had only one, yet they took their time deciding which one to not place down. Anyway, new hand. At least we have 2 options. I'm going to lead... Well, the Nidorina has more options to do damage on the first turn we can get it into play. So we will lead with her, bench the male Nidoran. We have Skyla for draw support. I can play her... Well, not draw support, but I can play her to get the Scorched Earth. And then that gives us the draw support we're looking for. Of course, the opponent will take that mulligan card, because why not? And let's see what Pokemon EX they are leading off with. Still selecting carefully which other Pokemon to add to their bench right now, as you can notice. Wonder if I should Wally first. I don't think we need to just yet. I'm going to attach this to the Nidoran. I will Skyla for the Scorched Earth. Drawing 2 more cards. Can it be some cards that we really need to make use of, please? If I can find an Evo Soda or even just a Nidorina, that would be pretty good because I can Wally into Nidoqueen next turn. Rare candy. I'm going to play the Professor's Letter also, draw out another... I'll get the nice fancy Espeon Psychic and a Fire for draw support next turn. Let's end the turn right there. They can't hit me yet. They need 2 energy. Well, they could hit me if a double colorless and go for the Knuckle Punch. They'll only do 20 though, fortunately. And Articuno added to the opposing side. Fan Club, gonna find 2 more basics. I would like something like that if possible. I've only got 2 Pokemon in play. If I could get Bridget, that'd be nice. But I'm gonna wait and see what does the Scorched Earth give us, because we'll have options to either possibly Rare Candy into Nidoqueen, or if I have an Evo Soda, oh boy, Pokemon EX. Not the end of the world yet, though. We might still have a chance. Slim chance, but a slim chance is still a chance. This thing can do a lot of damage. Fortunately, we're powering up Latios instead. What can this do to us? 110, preventing all effective damage, or all effective attacks except damage done to it next turn. So we wouldn't be able to poison it. But with 170 HP, Nidoqueen couldn't one-hit KO it unless we had Nidoking on the bench to power up its attack. If we had a Nidoking and Nidoqueen with enough energy to use the Dynamite Punch, we could one-shot the well, technically 2-shot, but 1-turn KO the Latios. My turn begins. So we have another Scorched Earth. Let's, well, hang on. Let's see what the Scorched Earth gives us. Nidoqueen. Yes! I can Rare Candy into Nidoqueen here. And then I can Wally up into Nidoking, or sorry, Nidorino. I'm mixing up all the names right now. So let's go Wally. Show us Nidorino. It's not a prize. It's a prize card! Alright. That is what we're going to say. Nice. We have ways to bring energy back. Let's just go ahead and Poison Jab, doing 30. Poisoning the Electabuzz, and do a second Poison Jab with the Omega Barrage, letting us hit twice. The poison will knock out Electabuzz. And this thing is not going to be ready to hit us yet, other than the fast raid possibility. Repeat Ball. Would it be nice if that was the actual Nidorino, but oh well. I can at least thin the deck by playing Repeat Ball, and Mewtwo's going to come up. It's weak to Psychic, fortunately. Or so are we. But we could Dynamite Punch it. That would do 140, and then a nice cleanup of the Poison Jab gets the knockout on Mewtwo EX at least. We'll take 60 from the Shatter Shot, though. But at least we'll take an EX down before we go down. A Magikarp? Is it going to use Z-Splash against us? What if they actually make a Magikarp GX that has Splash GX? That'd be awesome. So there's Nidoking. Let us discard the energy and see what we get. Rare Candy? No. I'm going to Repeat Ball. I should have Repeat Balled first, actually. Grab another Nidoran. I'll drop that to the bench. I can use the Energy Retrieval. And bring back 2 of the basic energy. Next turn, I can Scorched Earth again. I could Sycamore technically right now. You know, I might actually want to do... Well, hang on. What else do we have? We have Skyla. Wait! Skyla, come on, do this. Rare Candy. I've got 3 more in the deck, unless one of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them are prized, but they can all... Nope, all 3 are here. Where'd you go? Don't run away from me like that. I need you. Okay, Rare Candy. Let's go ahead and evolve Nidoran Male into Nidoking, getting the King's Palace ability in play, which is going to power up the Poison Jab to be 50. So double that for weakness is 100. We just need 2 Poison Jabs to knock this thing out. Let's do that. 1, 100 damage, and poisoned, and another Poison Jab. 2 brings down Mewtwo EX. Not bad. 2 prizes taken. Watch it be the Nidorino. There's the Nidorino right there. And a Nidoking BREAK. So if I could power up the Nidoking on the bench, that gives me access to use Nidoking BREAK in this fight. Like I said, though, in the deck builder, you might not really see me make much use of the Toxic Drill, because it's essentially just a basic attack. It only does 120, and we win. But let's see if we can actually get a chance to show Nidoking BREAK in battle in another fight. Alright, so let's focus on getting Nidoking BREAK into battle. We're going up against Axu 28 with a water and colorless deck. We've seen Nidoqueen in action with the Omega Barrage. And let's see, does the coin flip help us out this time? It does! Alright, so we're kind of half and half. Let's go ahead and take the first turn and start with some basic Pokemon, because luck is now on our side. We got 1. We got 1. But at least 1 is better than 0. Not much, but it is. Now, I don't have yet options to get myself a Nidoran Male or Nidoking BREAK into play, but if I can get some sort of draw support, I got Scorched Earth, which need a basic energy that is not psychic. However, let us repeat ball, another Nidoran female, leave that active one. Oh, look, the other Nidoran female is prized. Oh, the luck is just helping us out now, isn't it? So I'm going to drop Nidoran female to the bench. Since attaching an energy every turn is kind of necessary, since you can only do it once per turn, I'm going to have to put an energy to the Nidoran female. Again, like I say, leaving the active one up to take a hit. If we can draw a Nidoqueen, at least we got rare candy in hand. But I want to show the Nidoking. I haven't really got a chance to do that yet. That's going to have to go away pretty soon. Don't get the heads. Thank you. Even the luck out a little bit, please. Splash energy. So if I do knock out the Articuno itself goes back into hand. Everything else gets discarded. Speaking of discarding, they play Sycamore. I could really use a Sycamore right about now myself. Would not be opposed to it. So I got a Dive Ball. We're going to use it now. We got a Great Ball, first of all. Probably the better way to do that, because if they Dive Ball and take a Pokemon out, that's technically a slight less percentage chance of finding a Pokemon in the top 7 cards. Now they're going to Dive Ball. Going to find a Slowpoke, I'm sure, because they have the Slowking in hand. I'm going to Froakie. Haven't seen Greninja lately. This could be a Greninja deck. Professor's Letter. So I get to sit back and let the opponent play 17 cards from hand and just wait and see what happens. Alright, I'll relax a bit. Finally, they go for the attack. And wouldn't you know it, we stay asleep. But at least we have a Nidoran. And nothing else. Oh boy, we woke up! Yay, because we're doing stuff now. All I need to find is Nidoking, and I can rare candy into it. We woke up again. Alright. Come on. Show me something I can make use of. That is not it. I'm going to put this to the Nidoran Male. Hand the turn back to the Articuno. It's now going to go for the Tri-Edge. With a single coin flip of heads, they get a knockout on Nidoran Female. And there's the energy required to do so. But, now the luck has to balance out now. Does that mean they're going to flip all tails on the Tri-Edge attack? Huh, that's something. Well then, that's an Evo Soda at least. I'm gonna Float Stone onto the Nidoran Male. I will retreat into this Nidoran Female. I'm gonna Evo Soda up into the Nidorina, so we can at least do some damage. Should I heal now? Not just yet. I'm gonna hold off on that. Now I can do 20. They're going to heal it off. I'm going to drop the Scorched Earth right now. I kind of don't like dropping it before I have the way to make use of the draw support, but I don't want them to heal up. I want to try to get some damage, some lasting damage on this Articuno. Come on, just... Well, I was going to say, just give me a Nidoking and I can finally get that in play. But I am going to need more energy to be able to do some damage. So they're going to hit me for 60. I could heal that off. Ooh, Skyla. What I'm gonna probably want to have to... Actually, no. I'm gonna Skyla for a Professor's Letter. I was gonna go for Sycamore and play it next turn, but this will give us some draw support right now. Plus, I need more energy for the eventual Nidoking. Let's go ahead and drop that and grab a Psychic and whatever to discard for the Scorched Earth. I will play this onto the Nidoran Male. I just hope they don't Lysandre me again. But come on, give me the Nidoking. Alright, strength. Whopping 20 damage. However, I do have another fire energy for next turn. I could manage to get a Nidoking, or at least some way to find a Nidoking if I'm lucky. The Articuno is only at 80 HP remaining. Is there any way we can knock this thing out? I'm powering up the other one, though. And that's enough for a knockout. So I'm going to send up the Nidoran Mail, because it does have free retreat with the Float Stone. Come on, game. Give me something to work with, please. Kinda need it. The Delta Plus is pulling through. They got 2 prizes off of that knockout. I can use that. First, I'm going to draw 2 more cards. Discard the fire energy and get this here. Yes, excellent. Grab 2 more energy. Grab another fire and another... let's go for 2 more fire. Yeah. I'll discard a fire and the one of the psychics to get a Nidoking. Question is, which Nidoking should I get? There's a lot of basic Pokemon on their bench. I wonder if I should go for the Evolutions Nidoking. So I can knock out the active Articuno and get 20 damage off on the benched ones. That's probably the best thing to do. So let's rare candy on up. And I'll attach another Psychic Energy to do the damage here. I could still heal, too. But I have 130 remaining. There's a chance with all heads they can get me with 140 damage, but I'm going to risk that. I'm going to Tail Swing. Takes down the Articuno and hits some damage on the benched ones as well. Unfortunately, unless they get another one of their Rough Seas, they can't heal that damage off. Oh, the Frogadier comes up instead. Alright, that we can work with. We're going to be able to Break Evolve. Probably the smartest thing... Oh, they're going to get their Rough Seas. That's fine. We can still do some damage. If they actually get Rough Seas, that kind of makes my choice for me. I was going to decide, do I Tail Swing again and keep damaging the benched ones? Or do I get to finally show off the Toxic Drill? Oh, Crushing Hammer. Interesting. Even if you play that, I have an energy in hand, though. I can make use of that. But they flip a Tails on that one, fortunately for us. But we now see a Greninja. We can do a pretty decent 80, but we can heal. Alright, so that is 80 damage done to us. Fair enough. We're going to heal that up nicely. And let us now Break Evolve. We're going to be able to get to see the Toxic Drill in play. Scorched Earth again, draw 2 more. Did I lose a Nidorina yet? Yes, I did. I'm going to shuffle back in some cards right now. Nidorina. Probably get some energy back to... Just for some more draw. No, wait, hang on. Do I got energy retrieval in hand? I do. Let's shuffle back in a couple of Psychic Energy in that case. Alright, going back in. Now, let's use the Toxic Drill. 120, Poison Greninja, and getting the knockout. Because Poison will take it down between turns. So the Articuno is going to come up next. If it does flip all 3 heads on the Tri-Edge, that will be enough to knock me out. But what are the odds of that? Now, of course, this is Professor Chaz talking. What are the odds that bad luck is going to come back and hurt us? So they're carefully choosing. Who do they send up? The only one that can actually do damage would be this Articuno. Well, if it gets another energy, which yeah, they actually have because they just used the... What was that Shadows? No, Moonlight Slash. So they can get enough damage off to take down my Nidoking Break if they flip 3 heads. It is risky, but that seems to be the way they're going to go. They could also just Chilling Sigh, which would be unfortunate for us, too. And what is your HP, Articuno? 130, I believe? No, 120, which we can easily one-shot you even if you heal. But they're just going to go for the sleep-induced factor of Chilling Sigh. We will stay asleep. A Versus Seeker would be amazing right about now. Didn't get it. Well, what we're going to do... We're going to kind of go for broke here. We're going to Sycamore away. Lose everything we have for the time being. and we find no Versus Seeker that I was kind of hoping to get, but we'll drop a Nidoran male onto the bench. We will throw an energy onto it. Have to pass the turn. Whoop, that was the wrong button. Pass the turn. We stay asleep. Do they go ahead and throw the last energy needed onto Articuno to go for the Tri-Edge? At this point, they might be wanting to maybe hope and deck me out. This is actually a pretty interesting match. It's nice and even. 4 prizes remaining on both sides. And if nothing else, I got to show off the power of the Toxic Drill, too. But if I can just wake up, we can take this Articuno down. What is that card? Dive Ball, okay. Wasn't showing me for a second there. And slow, but with Ducklet and Shelter in the background. Interesting combination. Of course, they're all water types, though. Come on. Let's see what you got. Fortunately, they didn't attach an energy to the Articuno. But I'm still asleep. Let's go ahead and repeat ball. What do we want? I guess all we can get is a Nidoran. Might as well put it to the bench. We'll evolve the Nidoran into Nidorino. I suppose I should probably just Skyla for Versus Seeker now, if I still have it. Yeah, okay. So, since Nidoking BREAK seems to be taking an extended break, we're just going to let him rest this one up. Next turn, we can Versus Seeker for our Pokemon Center Lady, healing whatever damage it has, or at least 60, and going ahead and waking up to take down the Articuno. Professor's Letter, that is going to be the energy they need to start powering up for more attacks. Oh, wait a minute, this could be kind of detrimental. Flip a coin. Oh, yes, they failed. If they flipped heads, they could have moved an energy from Nidoking BREAK to one of my benched Pokemon. That would certainly have slowed things down, unfortunately. Now, the moment of truth. Do they land all the heads they need for the knockout? Would you go away, Ed? Come on. I had Versus Seeker and everything. Of course you're going to be like that, aren't you? So, we did just shuffle back. Oh, no, wait. Do we have a Nidoking in the discard pile? There's one. Is the other one in my deck? Fortunately, we're going to survive. This has to wake you up. You just took a massive hit. Come on, you got to wake up. Are there any basics left in my deck? No. Oh, just... Have you ever seen a Pokemon sleep for this long before? I haven't. I probably have, but in the moment it doesn't feel like it. I'm still at 80 HP remaining. Yes, we survive another turn. Please wake up. Wow. You actually woke up. Alright then, let's take down this Articuno. In fact, a Tail Swing does get the knockout, plus we can hit everything that's basic on the bench as well, so let's just do that. Thank you! Let's grab ourselves a prize, B Energy. Actually, Energy Retrieval, that is good. I need to get one more energy to power up the Nidoking BREAK on the bench. So, you can simply get the knockout, even without flipping any heads. You're going to bring down the Nidoking BREAK, but I've got the other one in reserve. You'll gain 2 prizes, of course, Articuno, but you're going to lose one. Ooh, Pidgeot EX. Haven't seen you yet. Well, we've seen you in one of the battles that we played. No! I need that energy! Actually, they didn't just... Did they flip heads and decide not to do it? Alright, then. All that really matters. This is a simple knockout. I was going to say, watch him get all heads now. But, nope. Down goes Nidoking BREAK, number 1. Nidoking BREAK, number 2, is coming up to play. So I'm going to Energy Retrieval for... Probably the smartest thing is... Oh, wait a minute. Here's a pretty smart thing, too. We're going to evolve up into Nidoqueen. And we can now make use of the Power Lariat, which will do 90. Of course, Toxic Drill is the more powerful, though. Let's grab a Psychic and a discardable for the Scorched Earth. Now, can we find anything to evolve the Nidoran male into? No. Let's go ahead and Toxic Drill. So the Articuno does fall. They're down to 2 prizes remaining, and I'm down to 2 prizes remaining. Let's see how this is going to play out. I could Ultra Ball. So if I was to evolve Nidoran Male into a Nidoking... if I had a way to retreat the active Nidoking BREAK, this might be kind of interesting. If I could Rare Candy into a second Nidoking with the King's Palace, although I think that one's actually discarded. Yeah, never mind. If I could have done that, each of them could have powered up the Nidoqueen's attacks by 20. Although if I find a Super Rod, that could help. So the Mirror Move, if this Pokemon was damaged during last turn, then... Okay, wait, they're going to be able to go for the Feather Dance. 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Excellent. They don't move my energy. I'm kind of lucky they haven't been flipping heads on that, but I did have energy in hand to reattach anyhow. So at 170 HP, we want to get the poison off on this thing. Let's start powering up the Nidoqueen on the bench here. And we'll just go for the Toxic Drill. 120 and double the poison. And in one more turn, once they knock out my Nidoking... Actually, they won't knock out Nidoking BREAK in one hit unless they go... They could actually just do the damage back with Toxic Drill, which is fine. Because then Nidoqueen comes up and gets the knockout with the Omega Barrage of 2 poison jabs. Actually, 1 poison jab's enough. So, what is next? Like I say, they can get the knockout here. They could retreat, actually, if they need to. Hard to say what they're going to go for. If they had a way to get 2 knockouts with the Feather Dance... Is it Feather Dance or Feather Lance? Feather Lance. If they had a way to get a knockout on the bench, then they could simply get the 2 prizes that they need. But I do not think they're going to be able to pull that off. Mirror Move. So 120 brings down Nidoking BREAK, but Nidoqueen is coming up to avenge its fallen king. We don't even need to attach any energy. We don't need to do anything but simply go for the poison jab for the knockout. Last 2 prizes being taken. Let's just jump right in. The opponent's going to forfeit, though, apparently, which we all saw what was coming anyhow. And that at least is a bit of the power of the Nidoking BREAK and Nidoqueen combination. You saw it in action. So that's going to wrap up this week's Pokemon TCG live online match featuring the Nidoking BREAK and Nidoqueen combination. There's only one more BREAK evolution left to check out in the X and Y Evolutions expansion, and that is Starmie BREAK. This one admittedly is going to be much more situational to make use of than previous ones have been because Break Star for 1 water energy. This attack does 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon BREAK. So, if they're not using Pokemon BREAK, essentially Starmie BREAK does no damage, but the regular Starmie could still pull something off. Let's take a look at what that one looks like, actually. I don't know if I have it or not, but I'll just take off the search for Pokemon that you own. And the evolutions Starmie, you still do Star Freeze for 30. Flip a coin. If head, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. The ability Space Beacon. Once during your turn, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So, okay, that's not too bad. You can get back some energy cards. So, might not make super good use of that, but I will show you a little sneak peek at something I want to show off in a little bit. Little thing called Beedrill EX. Now, I've said many times, I'm not super keen on using Pokemon EX because I feel in a way they're a little bit too easy, but I find this one has enough sort of hold back to it that makes it more interesting for me to use with a creative strategy. And I've always been a fan of Beedrill. Stinger in my main game, my Beedrill, he's pulled through so many times. In some of the video games, he has taken down the Reggie trio by himself. Pretty crazy, right? But the Steel, Rock, and Ice legendaries, my Stinger Beedrill has taken down. So I kind of have an affinity for Beedrill. So next week, I'll see if I can make use of the Starmie BREAK, but in a future video, I will show off a deck I've assembled using Beedrill EX and Mega Beedrill EX. But if you have any requests for any other cards you want to see me use here on the channel and put a cool strategy together for, just leave that in a comment down below. I did have a comment recently, somebody asking me to show off a Mewtwo deck, but I'm not sure which Mewtwo they meant. Was it the Mewtwo from the Evolutions expansion? Was it one of the Mewtwo EXs? Any particular Mega Mewtwo EX? I'm just not sure which one that you would want to see. So if you are watching this again and you want to see a Mewtwo deck, either EX or otherwise, just leave me a comment down below and specify which one you want to see, and I'll see what I can put together for a cool strategy for next week. Anyhow, this does bring the episode to a wrap. Feel free to leave a like down below if you enjoyed the battle, and leave a comment letting me know what you thought. And if you have any ways to improve this particular deck for anyone else that might want to try to recreate this for themselves, something you might suggest could, streamline it a little bit better and make it more consistent and coherent, feel free to leave that in a comment as well for deck improvements. But with all that, Professor Chaz is going to sign off, and at this point, I think I gotta put some sort of outro together for this too, because doing the sun and moon videos, or the moon videos, having an intro and an outro screen, I kind of like that, so I want to have something for this, but as you'll see in a little bit, if not now, stuff all over my face, all over the screen, other videos I've done on the channel. You can click the subscribe button for more weekly Pokemon TCG online matches. Once we do hit 1,000 subscribers to the channel, I have plans for so many new things to happen, one of which is going to be a second weekly Pokemon TCG online video in which I battle against the viewers. You guys can show off your decks on the channel as well. So if you're not subscribed yet, feel free to do so. We're at just under 960 right now, so we're almost at 1,000 as it is. So feel free to jump in and subscribe and get us closer to the 1,000 mark, at which point we'll start getting some interaction with you folks out there on the channel in video form. With all that, Professor Chaz is now done for the day. Come on back later on to check out another episode of Pokemon Moon that I played through, in which we take on the Island Kahuna of Melee Island in our big grand trial, first time ever. With all that, I'm going to now sign off. Professor Chaz is out of here, and I'll catch you next time.